Hello everyone, my name is Princess and today I'll be explaining to you how I made the Pokemon API application named Pokedex. So here we have the main folder. So let's start with this area. The main folder where it includes the code, and then a subfolder which includes the images such as the icon you see on top of the application itself, the open Pokedex, the closed Pokedex. Let's go back to the code right here, and then here we have the virtual environment, which makes the whole application basically portable. Like in case I want to give this application, like, hey, can you please try this code, try this application, and basically this just includes all the libraries that you need. It makes its own space, and by libraries, I mean right here, that's basically everything I downloaded to create this application. So let's start with the code. We have the title, short description, and then the import statements, the libraries. So first we have the basic GUI stuff. Second, we have for the pop-up error info boxes, that's the message box. Third, we have custom TKinter, which is something my classmate suggested, which makes of the labels, the scrolling thing, it makes it look way better. It gives it that modern look. Then we have fill import image TK, that's for loading and displaying images that TKinter can read. Then we have import requests, it's for making HTTP requests to the API, the Pokemon API. We have bytes.io, it's for handling data in memory. It's for, like, say you want to download the image, you want to download the audio inside bytes.io, well, you're going to need that. And then we have Pygame, which is for playing the Pokemon cry sounds, like the audio, which you'll see later. And then we have import threading, it's for running API calls in the background so the whole GUI doesn't freeze. And then we have import time for sleep delays between retries, like, so there's a retry between trying again, like requesting that information, so it doesn't constantly spam that request. So here we have the colors for the type search, which is, I'll show you right here. Let me just run the app really quick. So we have start, browse types. That's the colors for this full menu right here. And then this basically initializes the Pokedex application, sets up all the components. This is the custom TKinter appearance. This is the main window. This is the size of the window. This is the background color, which is right here. And then this is the icon, this tiny Pokeball right here. And then if the image doesn't exist, just skip it so that in case it doesn't load, it does not destroy the app. And then for current Pokemon data, this is basically just Pokemon data, species data, the type. If the Pokemon is shiny, is it true, is it false? Does it have to show the normal button or does it show the shiny button? That's just. Then this is for the cry bytes, which is the audio, and this is for the loading dots, which is when you search something, it should pop up loading dot 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 dot. And then down below we have setup images. So this basically loads the closed Pokedex and then the open Pokedex, which is the background you see right here. And then we have setup canvas. It makes it possible for you to place images in TKinter. And then define setup UI. So it basically calls each setup function to create different parts of the interface. So this is the start screen, the search widgets, which is the where you see all the types and everything, the info display, which is basically everything you need to know about the Pokemon, instructions, which is the first thing you see when you open the Pokedex. This one, type menu, type list. Okay, so this create start screen, this basically just makes all the buttons, all the items you need, everything that works in the screen itself. Then search widgets, like I said, it's this. So just the entry box, the go button, a button to find Pokemon by type, that's this one. And then loading indicator, which is what you see when you yes, loading. So great info displays. So what is this? The big container that shows all the Pokemon details. So this top section with image and name, main container frame is the whole box where you see everything. Frame to hold Pokemon image is the let's open the Pokemon real quick. So that's that frame right there. Display Pokemon sprite pic. This is the picture right here. Frame for name and buttons. This one right here. Pokemon name label. Name. Then Pokemon ID number, which is the alternative way where you can search this Pokemon. Pokemon type display. Water or ice. Water and ice. And row for shiny and cry buttons. It's a row with a grid where this is basically placed in. Then shiny button. Cry button. And then create the stats and description section below, which is this one right here. So create stats section. This is stats. So Pokemon have 6 stats that basically defines how well they are in battle. That includes HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed. All of this can be found in the API, and each Pokemon has different stats. Like let's say let's open Abracadabra. Different stats right there. And then we also have different um, physical, what do you call this? Physical, basically their whole thing. Their body. They have different physical bodies, obviously. So they will differentiate in their height, their weight, that also included in their Pokemon data in the API. And this is how I basically made the label for this, the window for this. So this create description section is basically this area down here, as you can see, and then this one wraps it so that it doesn't go past this box and it just enters into a new line. So define create instructions, that's the let it load. It's the first thing you see when you open the Pokedex. There's just guide on how to use it because I noticed in user testing that some people can be confused on how this works. And then below we have create type menu, which shows how you can search for the Pokemon, which is right here. And this scrollable area for type buttons, which is scroll here if in case it goes past the limit. Then create the button for each type in the 2-column grid. It's right here. So they're right next to each other. And then next we have define create type list. So that's the second type of list, which shows up when you pick a Pokemon type. Right? Let's say fire. Now, instead of just the types, it shows the Pokemon names. Now, all of the Pokemon here are fire types. So this is the header showing type and count. So type and count. So there are over a total of 109 fire type Pokemon as of generation 3 plus. So we have define open Pokedex. Like I said, this is the open Pokedex. Then this basically just places everything there. And define show loading, that's the loading when you click something. Hide loading, once the data is shown, it hides the loading. So define animate loading, yes, it just shows the animation. So all of this define things, it just makes sure that that function exists so that you can call to it again later. Define search Pokemon, obviously it's this. Then define search Pokemon by name. How does that work? So this is the whole meat and heart of the API, and I got this from a guide which is also included in Poke API itself. So the Pokemon name, it basically just searches it in the link of the API. You can either search for the name or the number as long as you use the provided text box search bar right here. So under here we have some error handling. So in case the API doesn't accept the first request, it tries 3 times in case of network issues or there's something wrong with the API. And then this timeout is if it doesn't work after 10 seconds, it just cancels the request. So you aren't stuck in this loop of constantly trying. Or that, so it doesn't take super long. Now, if it took super long, it's just going to show an error. Like right here, failed to connect to the server, please check your internet connection. Or if it's an absolute error, it just shows this unexpected error. Here is just gets the Pokemon Cry audio. And then this is Selfish Shiny. Selfish Cryant. Just checks if the Pokemon is shiny or not. And whether should show the normal button, everything like that. Then down here we have, oh, also up here we have in case you search a Pokemon that does not exist. Let's see, blah 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 blah. Blah. Press go, and it shows this window, this widget that the Pokemon is not found. Right, and then down here we have display Pokemon, which just displays all the Pokemon information. Let's say you want to search Rayquaza. Oh my gosh, the spelling. Rayquaza. Okay, I messed up the spelling. Let's just search someone different. Latias. Give it some time. Plays the automatic cry, and it displays the information. So that's the name, ID, height, wait, physical properties, yes, that's the word. So then type, like it's mentioned here, Pokemon can have one or two types, which is can be dragon, psychic. So if you were to look through browse types, you can see Latios in both dragon and psychic. Then get base stats. Latios, let's find someone different. Latias. So that's base stats right here. And then description. So this no description available is for when the API does not include description for that one specific Pokemon. It just shows this instead of just a blank. So this basically places all that information into the labels I created here in the application itself. This updates the stats, like say it changes, then updates the height and weight, show the info container, everything that includes this page right here. Now this section is for loading the Pokemon image right here. So right here is to make sure if it's shiny, is it not. Update the label with the new image. And then also, there's a thing in this uh, API that they also include the Mega Evolution as a separate entity. So let's say you go to Fire and we were to search Delphox. There's Delphox Mega. So Delphox usually looks like this. Delphox. And as you can see, you have that. Looks like that. But if we were to search the Mega Evolution, it does not include an image. So that placeholder used to not be here until you add this set placeholder image. As you can see, that's this same color as right here. So that works instead of a Pokemon sprite, because a Pokemon sprite does not exist for Delphox Mega specifically and a few other Pokemon. So the to prevent the Pokemon that you searched before the Fox Mega to appear instead of the actual Pokemon that does not exist. That's why the placeholder is here. And then this whole thing is for loading the cries, and it's basically the Bytes.io. It downloads the cry audio into that, and then instead of constantly trying to use the same audio, and it ends up not working because the permissions are different. It basically just clears the audio, and if you want to request it again, downloads it again, plays it again, clears it again. And if that doesn't work, well, you have audio error. Now this is for toggling the shiny. If it's shiny, show the shiny picture, change the button to normal. If it's normal, change the button to shiny, and then make that when you press that button, it shows the shiny sprite image. Show type menu, it's basically just defines all the commands that you need when you press the button. And then this, similar to the searching by name, it's just searching by type, which is this. Basically just defines the full process of finding a Pokemon through the type search. So let's search Lillipup. There you go. And then display type list displays the type list, of course. Loads Pokemon from list, closes the type list. And then right here at the end we have self window main loop, which basically loops the application so that it stays open. Because without this, maybe this would open for a split second and then it would just be wiped out into the void. Obviously, you aren't going to use the application for that quickly. So you need the window open to loop itself. Stay constantly open. And then this just basically runs the application. That's all. Thank you for watching.